Okay. Hey guys, welcome to another amazing episode. Well, George, it's actually our first amazing episode of the year at 600 pounds down, season four. Season
Man,
four.
that's crazy. Like we've been talking about this for the last 4 months of 2024, just prepping and planning and getting everything ready to go. The people have no idea, man. Like they have no idea the kind of stuff we got coming their way. And we got the graphics, we got topics, we got people lined up. Like it's gonna be insane, man. Like if you had to think about just one aspect of season four for you, like what would be the most exciting aspect that you are just game on for?
Really, we have a couple guests lined up that I feel like are going to bring a lot to the table. Um, we're bringing Josh Major back, which that's
Dude,
exciting. Remember, we talked about him going 1,000 days of commitment, right? And so we want to. I'm excited to see him come back because he's been a unique guy. I love following him on socials, and he's just a fun guy to kind of check out. So I'm excited for that episode. We still have to clear a time, but he's definitely open to coming back, and he said he would come back. Super exciting stuff. Dude, I'm also excited about the transition of the topics we're going to. I
yeah,
mean, we're still going to talk about weight loss, muscle building, and all the health things, but we're actually wanting to target the mind this time
yeah.
around and how overcoming the habits and the addiction and the struggles will get us to a place where I feel like it's going to set people free. I don't know about you, but I feel like that's coming.
I think when we were doing season three and we were hearing people's stories, I think season three really informed us on what we wanted season four to be like. Because when we had people on again and again and again and again, weight just seemed to be the effect of whatever the mental cause may be. Just with everyone that came on, it's like, I was struggling with depression, or I was struggling with being liked, or I was struggling with anxiety, I was struggling with stress, and it just manifested itself in food. And we hear all these people, and you and I would talk over the phone, throughout the week and just be like, what do we want season four to be? What can we bring to the table as two dudes who lost 720 pounds to help people in this? And I think when January rolls around, everyone's so about like, I'm going to get in the gym and I'm just going to do it. But they don't think about the habits that they created over the past year, at least, if not, decade or decades long. They don't address those things. They don't address the pain of the year. They don't address the life choices that they've made. They don't assess their current life circumstances, and they almost try to shoehorn a physical change without even addressing, how did I even get here in the first place? It's almost like this mental stoicism, if you will. Like, I'm just going to go and punish myself, and then maybe because I'm doing something that I don't like to do, everyone seems to say around me that it's good, maybe it'll have a positive effect on my life. But there's that massive drop off end of February, beginning of March. There's that massive drop off because these things, the mental is not addressed, and that's why we wanted to devote a whole season to it.
I love it. Yeah, that's pretty much setting it all up. Yeah, that's why we're whole season getting some great guests on here, great topics. There's just a lot to talk about, and I'm super excited also, man, because we something the most important part of the year, better than anything we could ever have done. We have a new theme. We have a new
Dude,
theme.
like, you sent that to me, and I'm just like, I was geeking. I'm like, holy crap, man, this is phenomenal. Like it's fantastic. It's awesome. You did such a great job. And you're asking me like, what do I change? I'm like keep 99% of it. Like 99% of it is good. Here's some tweaks. Like don't feel like you have to go too much, man, because that first draft was phenomenal.
It's good. I'm super happy. So some of y'all might be wondering why we're on. We're live on a Tuesday, which is very unique because we've never been live on a Tuesday
Mm-mm.
before on 600 pounds down. Reason is we are doing something pretty spectacular right now for free, FREE, capital, all capital, exclamation point. We are running the free January Reset Premium program. Super good. We had our first Zoom meeting on it last night. That went really, really well. We're just going to tweak it from there to get even better so people can just relate to it even more so, right? And Georgia, I was just last night kind of it makes you remember why we do what we do, right? We were talking
Yeah.
on the phone a little bit afterwards, and we're just remembering, this isn't about us. I mean, yes, we're the coaches involved doing the movement, right? But we are literally serving people, and we're helping people become better people, which I think is, I mean, that's a high service to me, and kind of hit home last night. So yeah, guys, we are on a Tuesday because of that. So, and you never know, we may bring a couple more episodes on Tuesdays moving forward. We'll see. I know on the next couple of episodes, they probably will be on a Tuesday, but we'll let you all know. Doesn't matter right now. George, good stuff happening. I think we should get right to it. What do you think?
Let's get it.
All right. Who are we?
I believe we are 600 pounds down podcast.
Don't forget, if you guys are following us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, I think that's all right now. But if you're on there, please subscribe, please like, please leave a review. All fives, please.
All fives. We're going for the 5-star review for 2025. Justin, what was the podcast rating at the end of 2024? Do you remember what the podcast rating was?
I don't really want to. Wasn't it like 4.9 or 4.8 or something like that?
Yeah, it was 4.9.
That is so ridiculous. Yeah, I tried to get it out of my head. Have you noticed that? Like, I totally forgot. Like, wait, where's he going with this? No. Why?
Leave it to George to just bring up pain and suffering.
Pain and suffering. Your name's pain and suffering. So, George, we have something unique we're bringing to the plate now. We kind of talked about how can we make the show more interesting. I mean, I don't know what's more interesting than two guys talking about weight loss and muscle building, but we got to do something. Yeah, you know how it is. So we are actually going to be talking about the health trends that are happening out there in the media, happening out there in the world. We see it on socials and things like that. These are just things that, we're going to take a couple minutes on the show and just kind of start with this because it's out there. We all see it. I mean, we've seen vibration plates. We've seen Ozempic, we've seen, hey, check out high intensity interval training. I mean, there's so many things that are out there that are up and coming. And it's like, what does 600 pounds down think of these trends, right? So you have one that you wanted to talk about, and I want to put a drum roll, please. I can't do a drum roll, but you get me.
Yeah, man, like the one that I've been seeing this for a while, and I've been talking to you about it a little bit, doing some research. It's called peptides. Now everyone's kind of familiar with Ozempic. Ozempic kind of came on the scene mid 2024, and it was all the rage. Take this and lose weight. Now, I don't know if people understand this, but Ozempic it's an injectable. So you inject it, and there's also other forms of peptides. There's ingestible peptides, and basically what peptides are is that they are isolated, and then they're isolated amino acids from protein, and then they're concentrated. You have your two big ones right now, and Ozempic is something that would be called a GLP-1. It's a gluconate peptide. Basically, what it does is it assists with weight loss. So peptides are being talked about as synthetically made, but they originate naturally. Now, Jay, you and I are very much on the natural bent of things. We very much promote the natural bent of things. And quite honestly, peptides are very new. There's a lot of people in the fitness space, especially in the lifting space that I exist in, that are talking about, we're on the verge of a golden age and this might be a miracle drug and whatnot. And I don't like that language, only because I think it presents a false sense of of security. Like if I just take this, then I'm good. You know what I mean? And I think in the space that we exist in here on 600 pounds down, we have a lot of people that are looking to not just lose a little bit of weight, but like a lot of weight. I'm talking like hundreds of pounds. And so something that you can ingest or inject that is claimed natural but synthetically compounded, to lose weight, it's very appealing. It sounds like a very appealing thing. Um, but there's just not a lot of studies on it. A lot of the studies are animal studies. Peptides exist in what's called the gray market. Um, you can't necessarily get them prescribed by a doctor because they're not classified under um, a certain pharmaceutical. But like you have two peptides. One is it really assists with weight loss. The other one assists with muscle and tendon repair. So you have your GLP-1s, which is the weight loss one, and then you have your BPC 157, which is the healing one. Now, from what I understand, if you are resistance training, eating whole foods, and following all the steps of that nature, as well as taking a weight loss peptide or as well as taking a healing peptide, it optimizes the results. But here's my fear, because my fear is this, because I was here before. I thought if I just lost weight, I'd be happy. The number on the scale equaled happiness. And so like, well, I don't care about lifting weights. I don't, and if I'm going to lose weight by taking this, then it doesn't matter what I eat, right? And so my fear is that people are going to take this and just take it, and then they're going to lose a whole bunch of weight. They're going to lose a lot of muscle mass. Your hormones are, I mean, you lose so much weight, Jay, your hormones go all out of whack. I mean, I read some studies where people were eating 1,000 calories a day and not feeling hungry. Like that's kind of freaky. I
Yeah.
mean, that, so I mean, you sent me a picture a couple of weeks ago about collagen peptides at Costco. Like these are, peptides for your skin. I mean, in a big, like almost like a protein jar. So something that's natural but is synthetically compounded. I my gut reaction right now, just because there's not a lot of research on human studies yet, I would stay away from it. I would try everything possible naturally to lose the weight that you wanna lose, because what happens if you take this, you lose a bunch of weight, but then you stop taking it,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know? What are your thoughts, man? I've been talking a lot.
Well, no, you're good. I'm just looking at the excuse me, the GLP-1s, right? The Ozempics, begins with a W, another one.
Yeah,
People come and they ask this question, like, I come across my clients and some of them are very much their doctor offers this to them like right away
right.
because they can't lose weight, right? The injectables, these shots that they're given to just to help them really get their quote unquote metabolism going and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know all the scientific research on these things, but I do think that we've come to a world, man, where doctors are easily prescribing everything,
Mhm.
and we are willingly bowing to the medical field, saying, "I will do this," because it's easier, and nothing I have done so far works for me. And I really believe 100% that things could work most of the time. I would say 90% of the time, if you do something the right way, eventually it will kick in and start working. 10% of the time, you may have to do some modifications to make it happen for yourself.
Right.
But when you start injecting yourself with something that there really aren't, as much as I'm understanding this, long-term studies based on the
No,
result.
it's so new. It's
Yeah.
so new.
Yeah.
And it don't I mean, 6 months it's been on the open market, and I say open market, but not really open market, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I see, like, I'm just looking at the side effects that could happen. I'm kind of looking over my on my phone here. They're not, I mean, gallbladder disorders is one thing, gastrointestinal issues like vomiting, diarrhea, constipation.
Yeah.
That's You can handle that most of the time, right? That's not a big deal. But then when you start
Right.
looking down the line, acute kidney injury, like,
Right.
okay, that obviously happens to people. Um, Diabetic, what is that?
So
Retinopathy, when people are taking
right.
diabetes, changes in heart rate, suicidal behavior. and risk of thyroid C cell tumors. And there's a lot of other things too, not even talking about dehydration and things like that. So we look at that, we think, well, that's rare. Well, not really. You don't know. It hasn't been studied that long. And I always look at the process like this. Why would I want to put something in my body that I don't have to put in my body?
Right.
That is synthetic, that's not really good for me to take in. Like, I probably would do better without it. I'm not a huge fan. I'm just not a huge fan. I'm more of a natural approach. I do think there's things in life that it may work different for certain people. If you want to take that risk and it works for you, sure, go for it. But in this household, my temple, my body, I'm like, I'd rather not go that direction.
Well, and you said, kidney stuff. So with the BPC 157, that's a healing peptide. Basically, what peptides don't do anything. Peptides just simply carry information, and it tells your body what to do. So that's kind of how people like to get around the fact that, like, this thing is not doing it, but this is basically it's a download. It's a biological information download that tells your body what to do. But with the BPC 157s, they've already said that it is not meant for chronic pain. So there's a lot of people who are overweight that deal with knee problems, back problems. That's chronic, right? So that they're already out. So the BPC 157 is not meant for chronic pain. But what happens with I can't believe if it's GLP-1 or BP 157, but one of them goes to the pancreas, and it tells the pancreas to spit out insulin.
Yep.
Right. So it helps with blood sugar problems and everything else. It's probably a GLP-1 that does that. The GLP-1 probably is the one that goes to the pancreas. And then it tells the pancreas to spit out insulin. Now, what happens if your hormones get out of whack because you're not eating enough food because you are so not hungry? Because I think people downplay hormone issues. Like, people don't understand how bad your body could get out of whack if your hormones aren't leveled out. Because if your body is continuing to spit out extra insulin, right? Well, what happens when you spit out too much insulin, Jay?
Low blood sugar, not good, terrible.
No. Right. And you get a whole bunch of other hormonal issues that start to piggyback off of that too. But like we said, the side effects are subjective. The side effects are a possibility because there's no long-term studies. There's a peptide that they did in rats where they gave the rats this specific peptide, and the rats over the course of a couple weeks basically got a body as if they were working out without actually working out.
So like jacked rats.
They got jacked rats. Yes, they appreciate you. But basically what happened was their muscles grew as if they were resistance training without resistance training at all. Like that, I don't know, man.
I don't know. I'm just kind of weary of those things, right? Or leery, not weary. They make me weary, but leery of those things.
Yeah. I think when it's all said and done too, it's so new. We don't know. Give it time. Give it 5 years. Then we're going to start being able to see like what the side effects are, how recently, how often they happen. I think we just need some time. But just like with everything, if we don't know, people are going to take it. So we'll track the people that do choose to take it. I'm not going to be one of those people. You're not going to be one of those people. But let's see what happens. Let's see. I just need more science. That's the only thing. I just need more science.
I'm with you on that. I think that's a good place to be. So, which makes us want to transition into what could help you if you don't want to do those things, right? Inject yourself with those and go a different direction. There's even like the gastric sleeve, the gastric bypass surgeries. There's other variations. There's weight loss drugs. You can name all the things, but like if we go back to the basics, strip it all away. Welcome to January. We are stripping everything away, starting fresh. That's what kind of feels like now, right? So we take that and we say, all right, what can we do today to help us get to a good place in our heads, right? And I just felt really strongly about this topic tonight. You and I were texting back and forth. What should we talk about this week? And we really want to be relevant to our audience. If you're listening right now, by the way, say hello on a comment. We'd love to know you're here watching.
Yeah, for sure.
We love to see any comments that you bring in. We love it. We love it. We love it. But I think stripping everything away, and it comes down to this. I would say I've been coaching people for years now, and I would say close to 1,000 plus people, and probably more. But there's one common trait that these people who don't succeed, there's one common trait that they have, and that's excuses. And I'm going to sound harsh right now. I know that sounds like, wait, where's this guy going? I'm going to stop listening right now. But if I didn't love you, I wouldn't say this stuff. And if George didn't love you, he wouldn't say these things. But excuses will destroy your ultimate goal. They will put a damper on the fire. They will wean your passion. They will prevent you from growing, prevent you from becoming the best you that you can be. So we're going to talk about excuses tonight. I think Christy's here. Christy Adams.
Hey.
Christy. Yes. So good to see you. But we're going to talk about excuses. We're going to talk about how excuses are the robbers. George, when I was growing up, when I started my endeavor of weight loss, getting healthy, I've tried many, 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 many diets. Many. I remember my first one I tried was, was it Slim Fast? I think it was Slim Fast.
Man, that's reaching back.
I know we're pulling the original G.
Man.
But it was Slim Fast, I think. And it was easy. It was a shake and a bar, right? Yeah. But I just had an excuse, like, this is not enough for me. But it really was. It was enough calories to me. I just find, and they don't taste good. Or and some of these might be legit, but they're like, how bad do I want to see the changes? Then it went to Atkins diet, where we went straight fat, protein, and keto, right? You can call it keto today. It's a little different, but keto and Atkins are very, very similar. Atkins then eventually transitioned to diet a little bit more, and now we have the ketogenic diet today. But original Atkins was ridiculous, dude. Like, I remember my mom and dad following that for a while, and I jumped in on that. And I was like, bologna again? We're having bologna again? It was high fat, processed. Don't care about what you have. No veggies. Let's go straight fat, straight somewhat protein. Yeah, dude.
Get those nitrites, Jay.
Oh my gosh.
It was those nitrates and nitrites.
Nitrite city, my brother. It was insane. And I just remember nothing like, okay, sliced bologna and cheese, ham and cheese, turkey and cheese, and cheese. Like, it was all that. And it was really hard to follow. And legit excuses was, I missed fruit. I missed bread. And I just let go. But the biggest excuse is this: I can't eat healthy without being on a diet. No, that's not true. I can eat healthy and follow a healthy diet. I don't need to have you want to call them fad diets, right? I don't need those things. I can make all excuses up. I need this. No, I need that. No. But the truth is, if I had myself right in my head, I would be able to just have a healthy diet and do okay. I don't know. And workout excuses too. I'm going to talk a lot. I'm done talking. But workout excuses too. It's the same thing. I don't feel like it today. Oh, it's too, like, dude, in Texas right now, it is cold. And I say cold, don't tease me, but like 30s and 20s. Okay. I'm not used to that.
That's cold for you.
It's cold. Yes. And so I almost skipped my workout the other day because it was like 20 degrees. I'm like, oh, going outside. I don't want to bundle up. Like, I don't want to do that, though. It's excuse. And that excuse is a robber of character growth and development. And I can just keep going on. But, like, do you have good excuses? Because I've used them all.
Dude, so, I mean, there's a real temptation to use my kids as an excuse. Because we last night we were doing the January reset class, and we were talking about our whys, and I think sometimes our whys can become our excuses. And it's a real sneaky thing too, right? Because think about it with my kids. It's like, oh, I don't want to waste time with my kids. Oh, I don't want to waste time. I don't want to give up my time with my kids. But what was I doing when I had my time? Did I get up? Did I get after it? Or did I sleep in because I was just too tired? Because now I'm going to use my kids as an excuse during their time. But what was I doing with my time? What was I doing with what I needed to get done? This journey is going to be hard, guys. I remember when I first started, when I went OMAD, keto, I will say I would never do that again. I'm just telling you what I did, not that I'm promoting it. But I remember being so stinking hungry, man.
Yeah.
Jeez, man. Because I would eat at dinner, right? So I'd get up and go to work, and I worked at a grocery store. I was doing OMAD while working at a grocery store. You want to talk about self-control,
Or
dude?
stupid. Or
It
stupidity.
was it really was a stupid thing to do, but but I mean I'm around and I would be working the sub and sandwich department like frying wings, dude. Like, and here I am doing
Oh,
OMAD, and I just remember being so stinking hungry that my stomach would feel like it's kind of like inverting on itself. Like that's how hungry I was. And then I would go home and then I would gorge. But you know, you can only eat so much in one sitting, and I was 310 pounds, right? So your stomach's gonna shrink. We were talking to one of our friends last night in the class, you know, and I would not advocate doing OMAD for a year. I did that. Do not do that. But one of my excuses, some of my excuses would be, oh, but I used OMAD to not fix my relationship with food.
hmm. That's
I,
good.
I I went a whole year thinking that I was fixing my relationship with food, but I went 180 degrees in the other direction
I want to pause
because
there for a second. I want to keep that thought because OMAD,
yep,
one meal a day,
yep,
and you would consume as many calories as you want. Like, did you count your calories or did you just
no,
eat, gorge
uh,
yourself? Like you just
I
whatever
did
you wanted.
because I was doing the whole keto thing too, right?
Yeah.
So it was low carbohydrate, almost no carbohydrate, high fat, high protein. You know, so you can only eat so much. I probably what could I eat in a sitting? Like 2,000 calories clean because it was all clean food. It was all clean food. So I was eating clean food, and then I would get done eating, and I would feel like I would want to throw up. But I was thinking to myself, you know, at least I'm not hungry anymore. But I traded my Krispy Kremes and quart of intense chocolate milk for breakfast to starving myself. It was almost like this again. I like to call it health and fitness stoicism. You know, I'm gonna punish myself, and because I punish myself, I'm going to then do a good thing because I'm punishing myself for the way that I ate prior. So a lot of times, like even now, I'm tempted to use my kids as an excuse, but I need to be responsible with my time. I'm the grown up, they're not. My son is 4, my daughter is going to be 3. I'm the 30-year-old. I'm the one that needs to manage my time better. I'm the one that can suck it up. I'm not going to make them do it.
Yeah.
So we have all these excuses in the book, and it's got to come to a point, and and everyone who's listening, you need to remember who's talking to you right now. We were there. All right, you're not talking to two fit dudes their entire life. You're talking to two guys who Justin lost like 3 people worth
Well,
of weight.
if
2
you want
people
to
worth of
count
weight.
little people, it'd be like five. But who's counting?
I mean, anyone who loses over 100 pounds has lost a small child or a medium-sized child, middle schooler, really. But when you are listening to us and we're telling you guys, the excuses have to come to an end at some point. At some point, and don't get me wrong, we care about you guys. We're compassionate towards you guys. We're sympathetic towards you guys. We understand. So this is not us saying we don't understand. This is us saying at what point is enough enough, and you are going to want to change, because this goes back to the mental thing too. When you go for the quick fixes, you might have initial success, but you're not going to have sustained longevity with that.
Mhm.
What we're offering here at 600 pounds down is sustained longevity. And I think when you do the mental math, when you do it the right way, the natural way, you are there's a science behind rewiring your brain and creating new neural pathways, but there is also a conscious thing that's happening with you, that you're saying to yourself, I'm giving up my old ways and I'm doing it this way. It's going to change your mentality.
Mhm.
And that's what this season 4 is about. That's why we're talking about this at 600 pounds down. When you do things, it's going to be slow. It's going to be sometimes painful. It's going to you're going to be tempted to get impatient, but you need to remember who's talking to you right now. You're seeing right now, you're seeing the end result for Justin. You're seeing the end result for me. You guys, I wish, Justin, I wish that we had a camera following us through our whole weight loss journey that we could just have people look at and just say, like, you see right here when I was 307 pounds and I lost 3 pounds, I thought that what the crap? I should be losing more weight than this.
Yeah.
I was mad. I was upset.
Yep.
And then losing 30 pounds, I thought to myself, okay, I did it. I'm done. So I think when we talk about our excuses, we need to acknowledge at some point that they just got to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And it has to, because we know that we've been making them, and where has it brought us to?
Mhm.
I mean, I think there's this vision that we have. Like I think most people want to be healthier. I think there's like a thing in them where they like, I want to live longer, I want
Right.
to look better, I want to feel better. I think the desire is there, and it's kind of like mixed in the body and in the mind. But when it comes down to it, it's just like this thing where they're like, I don't know where to start. And it's maybe
Right.
a little bit overwhelming. And maybe excuses have become like a second nature thing for people too, right? It's like just easy to say, I don't feel like it, or it's too hard, or it's not worth my time, it's too much money. I mean, we can say a variety of reasonings and excuses, but it's like, where do I start with that? Well, I think there's a game plan you can make for yourself. I really do. I think there's a number one, I would say have a heart to heart with yourself first. I would
Mhm.
just like, what excuses? First off, what's my number one goal? Do I want to lose fat, gain muscle? Do I want to just become healthier? Do I want to? You put it out there, and why haven't you accomplished that yet? And be raw and honest with yourself, because when you're raw and honest with yourself, you can have a very constructive conversation, and move forward with yourself. And you're not nuts for talking to yourself, right? It's constructive. It helps you. It builds you. And you can think about, okay, this is the reason. Maybe it's because I'm just lazy. And let's put it out there. Is laziness something? Then you need to tackle that. You need to stop that. Is it because it's just too hard? Well, guess what? It's always going to be difficult. There's never nothing is ever going to be simple, right? Nothing's going to be as simple as a snap of your fingers. Anything that has changed your brain to defaulting to this particular thought pattern, it's not going to be easy to break that. It's going to be you have to sever it, have to cut it off, and sometimes that's a slow process.
Mhm.
But you make a list of the things that you use excuses. Okay, is it I'm lazy? Is it well, I want to watch football? Is it I enjoy, I got to be with my friends? Is it that alcohol tastes too good? Is it that because that girl looks too good? Is it because that that food, I just can't give it up? You have to write it down. Like, what's going through your head? And then another thing you could do is talk to a friend and say, hey, what excuses do you see me making? And that takes, dude, George, that takes brutal honesty to actually reach out to a friend and say, I'm going to expose myself here. Hey, this is what I'm struggling with. Just letting you know, like, what do you see in me? What do you see? Like, what's making me not able to reach my goal? Like, what do you see? I mean, I think you and I could easily talk to each other like that. I mean, I love you, you love me. We're one big happy family with a great. Okay, that's Barney, but you get what I mean. Like, you and I can have
Right.
a conversation. I can have brothers who I can have a conversation with, but that takes a lot, and that will really open up the eyes of an
Yeah.
individual. I mean, what are your thoughts on somebody making a game plan and strategy like that?
See, I think that's great. I think that it's necessary. I think a lot of people stop before they have to talk to other people though. I think
Yeah.
that's because we don't see constructive criticism. We see it as a personal attack
Yep.
because we're that insecure. Like
Yep.
if I set two choices between people, I said you can either stay the way you are, you can stay overweight and unhealthy, or you could be healthy, good body weight, good body fat percentage. You know, you can't tell me that 10 out of 10 people are going to choose that. The only thing that's a deterrent is the process.
Mhm.
The process is not going to be easy. The process is difficult. Change is hard.
Yeah.
People are more comfortable with the devil they know, and the devil they know is overeating, insecurity, anxiety, and pain. I know what to wait when I wake up, I know what to expect. I can expect that. I want to not feel those things, but it's almost more painful to progress to that place because now you're not only entering the unknown, but you're entering the things that you've been running away from your entire life, potentially because of like telling someone who's a constant overeater that you're going to be hungry is terrifying.
Hmm.
It's terrifying. You've been I've said this on the pod before. You have been trying to flee from that feeling every time you go for the cookies, the chips. Anytime you eat to make yourself feel better, you're running away from the feeling of hungry, and you're running away from the emotion of emptiness and depression because you're looking for love. Love is not at the bottom of the chip bag.
Hmm.
All right. So I think when, that's why we have the 600 pounds down community. That's why we have that page. That's why we have that there for people to say, to reach out. And I think if people actually went from the initial personal internal decision to then vocalizing it to other people, I want to say you would be 50% more likely to actually follow through on it, because now there's accountability, and accountability is something that's going to be carrying you for this process. I think if we can just get there, if we can get to the vocalization to a community or to a group, to another person, I think that it will become a little bit easier, because now it's not all on your shoulders potentially. And look, if you don't have a plan, I'm here. Coach Justin's here. This is what we do. Like, we do this. We could help you. That's why we launched the January Mindset Reset program,
Yep.
because we want to give people an opportunity.
Yeah. If we would, and this is what helped me when I am just being real with myself and honest with myself. If I look at the long term of where I'm going today and it looks bad, and it could be death, it could be premature disease, it could be just not living life to the full like we're supposed to. Or I can say, if I were to change something in my day-to-day routine, if I were to stop saying, I can't do this, if I were to stop saying, I don't have the money or I don't have the energy, and I just found ways to make something happen, and I could see the future, I could see ahead, and I could see the potential outcome, the picture that's going to be painted. That's sometimes, I would say all the time, it's a beautiful ending, and it's a beautiful process. And I think we look at this transformation, these eyes that we have right now, just focusing on the here and now. We look at that as like this is our reality forever. And if you were to take for a second, step outside of yourself and say, what if I stop making these excuses? Where would that take me? Where would my reality end up being? Would I be happier? Would I be happier if I met results? Would I be fulfilled? Would I finally be confident again? Would I finally have clothes that I actually enjoy wearing? Would I feel okay being in front of people? And would I would I actually be able to step foot into a gym? Would I be able to, like, the feeling is good when
Yeah.
you recognize, when I stop doing this, I can experience this. And that now becomes a new motivator, and it helps you to stop making the excuses, because you see the bigger picture. If you were to stop making those excuses today, excuses rob you, they will sabotage you, they will not help you. And anybody's listening right now, if you're struggling with excuse making, like if you're making excuses every day, and you finally one day you wake up, I'm going to be healthy, and you use an excuse to stay where you're at. If you keep doing that, there might not be another tomorrow for you. And that's not to scare you. It's put the things into
No.
perspective. It's
Right.
perspective, because you're not promised tomorrow anyway, but your likelihood of tomorrow comes from your choices that you make today. And your tomorrow, I'm not talking about tomorrow. I'm talking about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, a year from now. That's your tomorrow. So every investment you make in your health and wellness today, in your mind today, in your spirit today, is a precursor of the result of tomorrow, one way or another. Thoughts on that, George?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about because we talk about little victories all the time. I remember I used to buy clothes to hide
Mhm.
me. And then I actually remember I remember I was in the store, and I found this shirt. I probably had lost, I think I had lost the first 90 pounds at this point. And I remember seeing this shirt, and I thought that was a cool shirt. And I tried it on, and I'm just like, I don't think I might even be recognizing now, just from what you said about that moment, but that was the first time in almost forever where I put a shirt on And my first thought was, because I like the shirt.
Hmm.
Because I like the shirt. Not, is this an extra long shirt to hide the fat rolls? Is this a darker colored shirt to make me look smaller? That those thoughts weren't in my mind. I tried the shirt on because I liked it and I wanted to see if it looked good. Like, that's why I tried the shirt on. And it's stuff like that where when that started happening, not to say that those were my goals, but those were the fruits of the goal tree, if you will, of just getting healthier. I
Mhm.
didn't have to worry about things anymore. The things that I worried about, I didn't have to worry about anymore. I didn't have to worry about, if I eat this, are people going to judge me? If I wear this, are people going to think that I'm slimmer? If I sit in this chair, is it going to break?
Yeah.
You
Oh, I
know,
hate it
like,
every time. Yeah.
for real.
Yeah. Christy said, I had a life coach at the three things that helped me most were number one, adult Christy is here now. Number two, how is this serving me? And number three, you can do hard things.
Yeah.
Yes. That's good.
I,
That's good. Those are three good traits to live by.
I
Yeah.
think the world that has been created in mass has trained us to run from hard things and look for convenience first. And
Mhm.
that has been a detriment on the human mind.
Yeah. I
Um,
agree. I agree.
So I this is what we're talking about. It's simple, but it is not easy. And there's
Right.
a difference between simple and easy. It is simple to put down the cookie and pick up the apple. That is a simple thing to do. That could be one of the hardest things that anyone has done in a decade.
Mhm. Yeah.
So just don't mistake easy for simple, because there is a big difference, and
Your
that's why
simple
keeping
is
it.
different. Your simple might be different from somebody else's simple, right? Like
That's true.
everybody's at their own place. So, well, friends, we're gonna close out here.
Mhm.
But this is a topic that maybe we can continue in the 600 pounds down community. If you want to hear more about this, you certainly can tune in to the free private Facebook group. We are there. You are able to join. It's free. You can come in. We have a good group of people there now who are willing to be there and help you out and hold you accountable. But Coach George and myself will be posting some things regarding this topic of excuses and
Yeah.
how you can overcome that. For those of you who are in the January reset, you can rest assured that we'll be
Yeah.
talking a lot about this stuff when we come into those Zoom meetings and even on the daily videos, right? We have some things like that in there. So a lot of good things are coming. But guys, my takeaway for today, and we'll go to Coach George. My takeaway is this: do yourself a favor, recognize the reality in front of you. What excuses are you making? And you just got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. And there's only
Yeah.
one way out of being sick and tired, and that's making a change. And nobody's going to force you to do it. I can't do it. George can't do it. And God could supernaturally do it, but he's such a gentleman to us that he allows us to have free will and doesn't force us to change, right? It's a voluntary surrender because we see the bigger picture. So I would say my takeaway would be you need to examine yourself, recognize the excuses, and start somewhere, even just one thing, and just say, I need to change this. And be okay when you slip up. It's
Mhm.
okay. You slipped up. But don't let that be an excuse to stop the progression. See, that's an excuse, right? To stop because I messed up one time. Friends, I mess up here and there. And my thought goes to, well, I suck. I will just start again tomorrow. No, start again at the next bite. Start again at the next action. Start again at the next water. Start again at the next, whatever it is. But don't stay in the excuse, because the excuse is going to eventually take you on a path you don't want to go down and eventually could lead to ultimately death. And that's just a simple recognition of what could happen if you don't get things under control. George, what are your ending thoughts?
A lot of things we hear, I'll start tomorrow. If that tomorrow never becomes today, it will never happen.
Mhm.
So let your tomorrow be today. Start right now. Start right now. What time is it? Some in Eastern time. Almost 8 o'clock. Start right now. Make simple decisions. Make simple changes. Because the more you create an excuse for yourself, the more you will be beholden um to those excuses. Don't let those excuses be your master. Master your excuses. make sure to overcome them and push through them and deny them. And I think that's your first step.
Love that. Guys, if you need anything else, simply come on and let us know. You can follow us both on socials. You can find George and myself on Facebook, Instagram. We are on TikTok as well. You can always text us, or I don't know if you can text us. You don't have our number, but you can certainly reach out. We will certainly give
Should
you.
I post your number on Facebook, Justin?
Please. You probably would. So, no, guys, reach out anytime. Really, we are here to help you. We care about you. We love you, and even if it's a simple message, we're just here to help. So, all right, guys, we thank you so much for joining us tonight. Welcome to season 4 of 600 Pounds Down. Super exciting stuff on its way. Don't forget, visit Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Rate us, subscribe, like us. Do what you have to do to keep us coming into your feeds so you can see the updates and what's happening. George, who are we, and when can they see us again?
Be blessed, and we will catch you next time on 600 Pounds Down podcast.